It's time to have a real conversation about an area on defense that players lack in every single year. It's completely ignored, and I don't understand why. Because at the end of the day, you're going to win games against players who don't know how to throw the ball, and they just quote unquote run and pray. My question is, are they running and praying, or are you praying that your incorrect gap shoots are going to work? What is up, guys? Sam from the Madden YouTube channel. And listen, I get it. The Quadfather is a very good running back in this game. To be honest with you, he's kind of a plodding running back that if you know how to run your rock effectively against various fronts, you can keep him glowing and kind of 3 yards in a pile of dust people. But I find that more often than not, the most successful games that I've seen, whether it be streamers giving them up or people posting stat lines on Twitter, typically revolve around the fact that people refuse to get out of bad run defenses. Basically all these defenses that have like one lineman in between the offensive line. Really, it comes down to not understanding your responsibilities in your run fits, or even understanding that run fits are a thing to begin with. So let's get into something that I've really preach a lot on my strategy website. If you guys are struggling on defense, if you guys are struggling on offense, if you want just to stay on top of what the popular trends are in competitive Madden, head over to my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. There's more content than you could possibly ever consume. And make sure that you guys don't forget about our Discord channel that is included with your membership. Check it out. Love to have you guys in the Discord. Every single defense has run fits. It doesn't matter if you're in man or zone. Now, run fits will vary based off of what type of coverage you're in, because they want to put a player in the best position to be able to play his pass key and then his obvious run keys. And a lot of players don't understand that there's 3 responsibilities for every player on the field. You have a run left responsibility, a run right responsibility, and a coverage responsibility. And I think a lot of players dumb down run defense to, there's a hole in the line, I should just run straight to it. And that's not always necessarily the case, right? You have to kind of take a look. So for those that don't know how to do this, you will hold the left trigger. This is how you look at your play out, your responsibilities on everything on defense. If you hit the right stick up, we obviously know that shows your coverage responsibility. But if you want to take a look at what your players are doing against the run, you will continue to hold that left trigger, and then you will tap X or square on PlayStation, and this will show you what a run fit is if the ball's run left. What this is telling me is that if I'm using Ray Nitschke and the ball's a left run, doesn't matter if it's a stretch, an inside zone left, a power O, whatever it is, my gap is the right A gap. If I overshoot and I go to the left B gap, that cutback lane to the right A gap is something that the user can exploit and cut it back. A lot of players don't understand the simplicity of doing your job. Do your job, that might free up a teammate to do their job more effectively. If you start to get into their gap, now all of a sudden you got 2 guys in the same gap, guys could trip, blocking assignments can be a lot easier for the offense, cutback lanes occur. Obviously just do your job. Now, if you want to look at the run fit to the right, you tap B or circle on PlayStation. In this situation, this is pretty straightforward because this is a 1 gap defense, basically. Everybody's responsible for 1 gap, left or right, just play your gap. And this is why I feel like a lot of players don't understand how run fits work. You'll oftentimes see pinching, crashing, and then guys will try to like fly in, right? And if they don't understand where their true responsibility is, your job is literally to take on the tackle in the tight end on this play. So if you're caught up in here stacking your linebacker, it's no wonder the stretch gets open on you, because you're out leveraged significantly by every possible person who could block you. They're going to block you inside and your responsibility is outside. So this is gap integrity. We talk about this all the time. And a lot of players don't even understand what gap integrity means. You need to be in a spot where you can play your run fit. You know, if you're out here trying to set up a blitz, I get it. If they pass, that's the reward. But you're taking a huge risk because you're in a spot where if they do run the ball right, you're easily blocked and you're washed out of your responsibility. So if you're going to do something like this, So if you're going to do something like this, you should probably also set up a run fit that gives you a better chance of doing your job, or at least freeing up your teammates to do their job more effectively. Because this is a challenge. You know, yeah, could I get outside and try to take on this block? Yeah, I did a hell of a job right there, but I also knew it was coming, right? It also pays to know what your run fit is too. So like, okay, I know that when I pinch and I crash my line down and I've got these linebackers pinched, that if I crash my line down and I'm using a linebacker and they run outside, I have to get outside. So here in this situation, I'm using Warner. I've got to get outside of that tackle, right? If they run stretch, I've got to get all the way out here and do my job to funnel this run back inside. And lo and behold, oh my gosh, we were able to get a stop, right? all because I did my job. But I think it's so easy when players look at their run defense and they say, oh, look, there's a gap right there. That right A gap looks pretty sweet. I really ought to shoot it. Well, in this situation, you're actually responsible for the right B gap. And why is that valuable? Well, that's valuable because that's telling you where your gap shoot is. So if they run the ball right, your gap shoot, if you go to the A gap, you're going to get blocked, right? You saw right there. That's exactly what happened. But if I kind of reset this up a little bit, again, my responsibility is that right B gap, and I'm trying to play my run fit, and you shoot through the right B gap. You see how I did my job? I was not blocked. The fullback got confused. All of a sudden, this gets plugged. And I didn't really do anything other than just understand what my job is. I didn't set up a run defense. I didn't really have to do anything crazy. I didn't have to show blitz. I didn't have to actually blitz any linebackers or second level players. This is just really low level stuff that is high level effective. And a lot of players don't understand that. A lot of players just simply don't understand that. This applies to dollar as well. This applies to nickel 3-3 as well. The problem is you don't have variability in these fronts to stop or create different run fits for yourself. Let's take a look at like DB Fire. Take a look at DB Fire. You know, a lot of players complain about stopping the run while they sit in this formation. Well, why? Well, the answer why is very simple. You take a look in DB Fire, you're using a linebacker, right? Run fit right, left A gap. Run fit left, left B gap. A lot of players don't even understand that their responsibility on a run over to the right is going to be, you know, in this situation, you've got to have your responsibility. So no matter what they do, if you don't play this gap, you're going to be in trouble. Now, the other part of this is numbers, straight up numbers, right? Like this is terribly loaded to defend the run. Like you look at this, you've got, you know, in a lot of cases, you just don't have enough bodies, right? And you also factor in another thing, the safeties aren't involved. The safeties are not involved. So different types of plays have different types of run fits. So in a situation like that, where the only guy that's responsible for an interior gap is a linebacker that's off ball, there's 3 players in between the offensive tackles, an inside run is going to kill that. And it's kind of self-explanatory, but I don't feel like people understand that. Whereas if I call, you know, maybe like a cover 4 base shell against a similar type of run, you take a look at the run fits, look at how the safeties are now responsible. We've got multiple players coming to the football in the interior gaps. You've got basically in this situation, if you take a look, we've got between the tackles, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players playing run fits in between the tackles. Whereas in a dollar, you've got 2 players or 3 players in between the tackles that are playing run fits. So of course it would give up more inside runs. Well, you try that same inside zone split against, you know, this type of run. Again, in this situation, this is 1 gap for me. I'm responsible for the right A gap. So Nitschke, I might kind of say, okay, I am responsible for that A gap. They want to run their inside zone. I'm playing this A gap. I'm doing my job. It blocked pretty well right there, right? Like, unfortunately, that's the reality. You're still gonna have to lab those things. But maybe I crash. Okay, I crash my line left. What's my run fit? Now, all of a sudden, it's the right B gap. Okay, so now I'm loading up to shoot through this lane, right? So instead of flying in here, now I've crashed and I've changed things just a little bit. How does this work? I fly in through here, did my job better, right? Now, of course, they probably will bend it back. They'll try to do, of course, the user could try to do things, but a lot of times you don't have to make the play yourself. And I just hope that you guys understand that there is value in eating up a blocker. A lot of players think that, oh, I've got to fly in, make a dive tackle. That's the only way I can get this stop. It's really not that complicated. Like, let's crash the line right. What do I do here? Okay, so now, like, if they're running the ball to, like, the left side, right? Actually, we don't have a run left here, but if they run the ball the right side, I'm responsible for the right B gap. So in this situation, I'm flying down here. I got to eat my block, right? And we just got to plug those lanes. You know, they can break a tackle, but if you're sound fundamentally, you've got multiple players playing the run fit, you're going to be in a better place. You're going to be in a better place. Now, of course, gap shoots are going to start to become easier once you start to lab pinches and crashes. And, you know, like, you know, in this situation, you know, you see right here, you basically end up, you know, when you pinch and crash down, these linebackers kind of loop around, right? So, you know, in a situation like this, you're actually supposed to get all the way out here, right? But again, you see how the safeties play downhill. If you have like a run fit where those safeties aren't involved, of course the inside run's going to be a little bit better. You know, if I'm in a standard cover 2, and I take a look at this, the safeties are no longer involved, right? So what would make most sense? Well, you're probably going to want to try to force the run into your support, which is your outside players, your force, your contain guys. So maybe we do kind of pinch and crash the line down and get all this action forced, you know, to the outside. So that way when they run this ball, it's like, okay, I gotta get outside here. Well, that's where all this help is, right? That's where the help is. You know, so in some cases, safeties are playing kind of down and they're kind of your extra help. Sometimes it's your outside corners. Just depends on what coverage you call. So check your run fits, lab your gap shoots, lab your crashes and how those change where your run responsibility is, and do your job. Do your job. I hope today's video was informational for you guys. I've just been seeing a lot of people talking about the run and how Quadfather ruined the game. And it's just like, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. Get out $1, get out of 3-3, try to stop the run. If you guys have any questions, drop them below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. See you guys on Monday with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.